How can temperatures jump from 40 degrees below zero to near record warmth in just 5 days? And what does this extreme swing mean for 150 million Americans heading into Christmas week? Right now, as I speak to you, the most dramatic weather pattern shift in decades is setting up to completely flip winter on its head by this Thursday. Arctic air that was supposed to dominate through Christmas is instead about to give way to a temperature surge of 60 to 80 degrees in some areas. Life-threatening wind chills of minus 40 degrees that we're experiencing today will transform into spring-like temperatures approaching 60 degrees by Friday. I'm Michael Thompson, and today is Sunday, December 14th, 2025. In the next 23 minutes, I'll walk you through exactly why this weather pattern has taken such a dramatic turn and what it means for your holiday plans. This isn't just a typical winter warm-up. We're looking at one of the most extreme temperature reversals in modern weather history. But here's what makes this different from any other weather pattern change you'll hear about today. At precisely 6 minutes, I'll break down exactly what each region can expect hour by hour, including the shocking flooding risk that emergency officials are quietly preparing for right now. I'm using data that's been updated within the last 4 hours from the National Weather Service and Climate Prediction Center. This isn't seasonal speculation. These are the exact numbers that flood control agencies and transportation departments are using to prepare for potential disasters. But first, let me explain why this pattern flip has meteorologists genuinely stunned by its speed and intensity. Just yesterday, we had life-threatening cold gripping the Midwest and Ohio Valley, with actual temperatures dropping to 20 below zero and wind chills hitting 40 below. But a very unusual jet stream pattern is developing right now that's going to completely flip this script within 72 hours. The big dip in our jet stream that's been ushering in all that dangerous Arctic air is about to make a dramatic reversal. Instead of that trough over the Midwest pulling cold air down from Canada, we're going to see it flip to a massive ridge pattern. Here's where this story takes an unexpected turn that has forecasters scrambling to issue new advisories. That ridge is going to pump warm air northward with such force that we could see temperature increases of 60 to 80 degrees in some locations. Areas that are experiencing minus 20 degrees today could be looking at temperatures near 60 degrees by Friday. That's an 80-degree swing in just 5 days. What does this mean for the millions of people who've been dealing with frozen pipes and dangerous wind chills? What about the massive amount of snow that's accumulated across the Midwest? Where does all that go when temperatures surge above freezing? Don't miss what I'm about to reveal, because this pattern change brings both relief and entirely new hazards that you need to be prepared for. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. This transformation is happening exactly when millions of Americans are making final Christmas travel preparations. Indianapolis just had its second snowiest start to winter on record, dating back to 1884, and now all that snow is about to become a major flooding concern. Climate experts are calling this one of the most extreme winter weather pattern reversals they've documented in the modern era. Here's the critical hour-by-hour breakdown you've been waiting for. Exactly what each region should expect as this dramatic transformation unfolds. Let me walk you through this systematically, because this pattern change affects different areas in dramatically different ways. Midwest, ground zero. Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. You're at the center of the most extreme temperature reversal. Right now, you're experiencing some of the most dangerous cold of the season, with wind chills between 20 and 40 degrees below zero across much of the region. But by Wednesday evening, a strong warm front will begin surging northward, bringing the first significant temperature rise. Thursday is when things get really dramatic. Temperatures will soar from morning lows near zero to afternoon highs approaching 50 degrees. Chicago could go from minus 10 degrees Thursday morning to 45 degrees Thursday afternoon. A 55-degree swing in just 12 hours. The biggest concern here is rapid snowmelt. You've had 6 to 8 inches of snow in many areas, and when temperatures spike this dramatically, all that snow turns to water very quickly. Ohio Valley transformation. Kentucky, Tennessee, and southern Indiana face a complex flooding setup. Your temperatures will surge even more dramatically, potentially reaching the upper 50s to near 60 degrees by Friday. Extraordinary for mid-December. But here's the dangerous part. This warm air is going to be accompanied by heavy rainfall, falling on top of frozen ground and existing snow cover. When you combine rapid snowmelt with heavy rain on frozen ground, you create perfect conditions for flash flooding. Rivers and streams that have been locked in ice could see rapid rises as all that meltwater has nowhere to go. Northeast Corridor. You're going to experience a more gradual but still significant transformation. Areas from D.C. through Philadelphia, New York, and Boston will see temperatures climbing from the 20s today to the 50s by Friday. The snow that just fell across your region, with some areas picking up 5 to 6 inches, will start melting rapidly by Thursday. Urban areas need to be particularly concerned about storm drain capacity, as the combination of melting snow and potential rainfall could overwhelm systems. New York City and Washington, D.C. haven't seen this type of dramatic temperature reversal in winter since the early 2000s. Southern Plains, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. You're looking at potentially record-breaking warmth. The same ridge that's pumping warm air into the Midwest is going to create extraordinary temperatures across your region by the end of the week. Dallas could reach the upper 70s, Oklahoma City might hit 75 degrees, and Little Rock could see temperatures near 70. These would be more typical of late March or early April, not mid-December, and some locations could challenge daily record highs. The Climate Prediction Center is forecasting above-average temperatures for your entire region through the Christmas holiday period. Pacific Northwest Crisis Zone. Washington and Oregon, you're dealing with an entirely different but equally dangerous situation. While the rest of the country warms up, you're about to get absolutely hammered by extremely heavy rainfall from a very strong atmospheric river. Rivers in western Washington are already at major flood stage, and this multi-day rain event is only going to make things dramatically worse. Tuesday night into early Wednesday will likely be the most dangerous period, with mudslides and catastrophic flooding possible. Some areas could see 3 to 6 inches of rain in just 24 hours, on top of already saturated soils and swollen rivers. Now, there's something developing that I need to tell you about, and it's going to reshape the entire rest of December. This isn't just a brief warm-up followed by a return to cold. We're looking at a fundamental pattern change that could last through Christmas. By late Wednesday and early Thursday, a very intense low-pressure system will form over the northern Rockies and southern Canada. This system is going to be the driving force behind not just the warm-up, but also a series of storm systems that will follow. Strong to even isolated severe thunderstorms are on the table in the Ohio Valley on Thursday, something virtually unheard of in mid-December. I wouldn't rule out some isolated damaging winds as this system moves through with such dramatic temperature contrast. By Friday, this storm system makes its way into the northeast, bringing lots of rain across New England rather than the snow you might expect. Here's something that might surprise you about this dramatic pattern flip and why it's likely to persist through the holidays. The jet stream configuration that's creating this reversal is being reinforced by very strong atmospheric patterns in the Pacific Ocean. Unlike typical winter warm-ups that last just a few days, this pattern has the potential to remain locked in place for weeks. Climate forecasters are now predicting above-average temperatures across most of the United States from December 21st through December 27th. The only exceptions are the Pacific Northwest and the extreme northern areas like North Dakota, Minnesota, and northern New England. This means that if you're in places like Texas or Oklahoma, you can literally put your winter jackets back in the closet for the foreseeable future. Let me explain the scientific mechanisms behind why this pattern change is so extreme and likely to be long-lasting. What we're seeing is a complete reversal of the atmospheric pattern that dominated the first half of December. The strong ridge building over western North America is going to become the dominant feature, essentially locking out Arctic air masses. This ridge is being strengthened by warm sea surface temperatures in the Pacific, creating what meteorologists call a persistent pattern. When patterns like this establish themselves in December, they tend to persist through the holiday period and often into January. Now, let me address what this means for different aspects of your life and planning over the next few weeks. For holiday travel, this pattern change is largely good news. No more dangerous cold snaps or major snow events for most of the country. However, you need to be aware of the flooding risks during the transition period, particularly Wednesday through Friday. Road conditions could deteriorate rapidly in flood-prone areas as all that accumulated snow melts and combines with rainfall. For winter sports enthusiasts, this pattern change represents a significant challenge for ski resorts and winter recreation. The warm temperatures will cause rapid deterioration of snow conditions, and many lower elevation areas may lose their snow cover entirely. Higher elevation ski areas in the Rockies and northern regions may fare better, but even they will face challenging conditions. For homeowners, this pattern brings both relief and new concerns. No more worries about frozen pipes, but new flood risks to consider. Check your basement and low-lying areas for potential flooding as snow melts rapidly and ground remains frozen underneath. Make sure gutters and storm drains around your property are clear, as they'll need to handle much more water than usual. For agriculture and outdoor workers, this warm-up could actually create some unexpected opportunities and challenges. Construction projects that were halted by extreme cold can resume, but muddy conditions from melting snow may create new obstacles. Farmers need to be concerned about winter wheat and other cold season crops that could be confused by the dramatic temperature swing. Let me walk you through the specific timeline of when this transformation will reach your area. Monday through Tuesday, the cold pattern will begin to weaken, but temperatures will still remain well below normal across most areas. Wednesday is the transition day. You'll start to feel the warm air advancing, with temperatures beginning their dramatic climb. Thursday is when the most extreme changes occur. This is when you'll see those 50 to 60 degree temperature jumps in many locations. Friday through the weekend, the new warm pattern becomes fully established with spring-like temperatures dominating most of the country. Looking ahead to Christmas week, long-range models suggest this warm pattern will remain the dominant feature. By late Friday and Saturday, more moisture will come over the Rockies and try to create another storm system. This could bring some snow back to the Midwest and Great Lakes, but with the overall warm pattern, it's more likely to be rain or mixed precipitation. The Ohio Valley might see another round of thunderstorms by late Saturday and Sunday. Again, very unusual for December. Looking toward Christmas itself, we don't know exactly what will happen in terms of precipitation, but the warm pattern should persist. There will be some moisture in the atmosphere, so somebody will probably see some form of precipitation on Christmas Day. But for most areas, we should still have snow on the ground for Christmas across the northern plains and upper Midwest due to the existing deep snow cover. However, areas further south that currently have snow will likely see it completely melt during this warm-up period. Let me give you some specific preparation guidance for getting through this dramatic transition safely. For the immediate flooding concerns, avoid driving through flooded roads. Turn around, don't drown, applies to winter flooding just like summer flooding. Move any valuable items out of basements or low-lying areas where flooding might occur during the rapid snowmelt period. Check on elderly neighbors and family members who may not be prepared for such rapid weather changes. They may need help adjusting. For vehicle preparation, switch from winter emergency supplies to flood-related concerns. Have emergency supplies in case you encounter flooding. Monitor weather alerts closely Wednesday through Friday, as conditions will be changing rapidly and new warnings may be issued. Now let me address what this pattern change means for the broader winter season and long-term outlook. This dramatic reversal from extreme cold to extreme warmth is actually consistent with climate change projections for winter weather patterns. We're seeing more frequent and extreme swings between winter weather patterns rather than gradual seasonal transitions. The jet stream is becoming more amplified and unstable, leading to these dramatic pattern flips that can persist for weeks at a time. This doesn't mean winter is over. Patterns can flip back just as dramatically as they're flipping now. But it does suggest that this winter will be characterized by these extreme swings rather than steady, predictable seasonal progression. For the remainder of the winter season, we can expect continued volatility with periods of extreme cold, alternating with periods of unusual warmth. First, prepare for rapid flooding during the transition period. Wednesday through Friday brings the highest risk for flash flooding. The combination of rapid snowmelt and potential heavy rainfall on frozen ground creates dangerous conditions that can develop quickly. Second, this warm pattern appears likely to persist through Christmas week, fundamentally changing holiday weather expectations. Pack accordingly for holiday travel. You may need spring clothes rather than winter gear for most of your trips. Third, stay flexible and weather aware as conditions will be changing rapidly throughout the week. This isn't a gradual seasonal transition. It's an abrupt pattern flip that requires active monitoring and adaptation. This has been Michael Thompson with your comprehensive weather pattern transformation briefing. Winter just showed us it can surprise us in ways we never expected. While this dramatic warm-up brings relief from dangerous cold, it also reminds us that modern weather patterns are becoming increasingly extreme and unpredictable. I'll be monitoring this pattern shift closely and providing updates as these dramatic changes continue to unfold across the country. In my next forecast, I'll reveal whether this warm pattern has staying power through January and what signs to watch for that might signal winter's dramatic return. Until then, stay safe during this transition and remember, in weather, the only constant is change.